Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Turnbuckle Tabloid cutting a promo. Cutting a promo this week. I was going to lead in with my thoughts about the direction WWE is going with their creative and what's going on right now with basically the I guess the unsatisfactory way in which fans believe that direction is going with the way that many of the storylines are occurring. John Cena's storyline, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, what's going on with the bloodline, and what seems to be happening with lack of creation of stars until we got the shocking releases of R-Trith and Carlito. And I just wanted to touch on it. I guess I could say I did want to touch on it greatly, but I didn't want to go too much into the fact of, but we're at a crossroads here right now, and I'm not sure whether or not I'm on board with it or I am. I don't agree what's happening. I'm kind of trying to gauge an understanding of, if we're releasing individuals, we're signing individuals, then why do we still seem like we're stuck in the same spot, like we're in quicksand? Why do we still have we still have this creative roadblock? I say this because, well, first let me get to the R-Trith and Carlito releases and such. R-Trith, what can we say about a man for the longest of time that he's brought nothing but joy and hilarity and also great talent to the WWE? I mean, the fan base, there's not many, if any, who could say a negative word about him. This man has been not only a key part of being a comedic aspect of the WWE, but also Ron Killings has also been an individual who has been on the up and up when it comes to his wrestling skills. The guy is, nothing short of amazing. I don't understand anybody who would even say that the man who ring wise wasn't above average. He was a work. And I always have to say that about R-Trith. He was a work, and he still is a work. For his age, he's 53 years old. How many guys can still put in that work at 53? We got guys already still talking like in their mid 40s, getting ready to retire, and he's putting in the work at 53. it's great to know that the man could fucking go out there, and if he needed to, could put on a match and hold it down. And at 53, we could look at his tenure in WWE over 25 years. He was there early on, came back, and I mean, how many people could say that they've had a 25-year career in WWE? Just look at the listing of his accomplishments: two-time U.S. Champ, two-time Hardcore Champ. Let's not even count the 54, 27, 24/7 championships he's won. 54. Raw Tag Team Champ 2 times. Bragging Rights Trophy. Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 with Carmella. Of course, he gets Slammy Awards. He's been everywhere. And then let's not even say the what he did when he stepped out of WWE for a bit, when he was in NWA TNA, when he was a 2-time world heavyweight champion over there, a tag team champ 2 times, world TNA champ, and Gauntlet Gold winner. I mean, there's nothing we can say that negatively about R-Truth. The only thing that you can say is, I'm tired of the whole goofy gimmick or whatever. But that was the gimmick. He was the comedic aspect, and he loved every moment. I remember a post that he on Twitter. Someone had commented about, why do you need to be doing this whole shucking and jiving aspect of it? And he didn't take offense to it. What he took to it was, I'm getting money. And you know what? If it makes the fans happy and if it makes me feel happy, then I know what I'm doing is bringing joy to others, and I'm not offending anybody. More power to him. More power to him. And I know a lot of people sat there and it was like, well, he only stood around because he was Vince's buddy. Vince loved him. And it was okay. Then he stood around, and even still, he still provided something. He still was, a guy who, a worker's worker, as they would say. And he was a good hand, even a great hand in the ring. And, he had some accomplishments. He was there to have fun and love the business, and he did it. Was the release shocking to me? No. Like I said, over 25 years, almost 30 years in the business is on his own. 53 years old. Can he still go? Yes, he can still go. And if more power to him, if he finds the ability to go have fun somewhere else, he can do that. And that's not an issue. That's it. That's why I enjoy the fact that now we have the opportunity to have wrestlers go to other promotions and have a good time. Who knows? Who knows what, now that this is happening for him, the door is open for him to do what he, would like to do. I know he's great on the social medias, and I know he enjoys doing that, especially with his kids and such. I know that he still has his love for music and rapping and such like that. He can still do that. I get that. There's still that that thing called opportunity that's available to him, even at the age of 53 years old. There's nothing that could prevent him from doing anything else than what he wants to do now. And if he wants to continue to wrestle, I would believe that there's people out there who would still want to get him. That's fine. But the same thing that happens with this release, it also goes to some, in a form of hypocrisy that goes with some of you guys who watch wrestling as well. You guys get tired of seeing the same guys in the ring doing the same shit over and over again. He goes in the ring, he'll goof around, joke around, in the case may be, gets in a match, loses, and then he's out the door, and then you complain about it. Okay. Oh, they could have used such and such in that position. They could have used another person here, and they could have used that one. Now that they're releasing him, everybody's upset and they're crying. Oh, how are they gonna do him like that? It's part of wrestling. I wouldn't even be surprised that he didn't know that this was coming. I wouldn't be surprised that the reason why he got the opportunities that he was getting was because he knew he was going out the door, and he said, hey, you know, do me this solid and let me just get a few matches in before I go. I honestly, I would not be surprised if that happened. But still, I find it that many people are just unable to understand and realize that wrestling is about coming in, doing the business that we do, make the green, make the dollars, and then you're around. You're not. They move on from you. Same could be said about Carlito, who was just spoke that he was released as well. Now, in Carlito's case, it's more of an instance to where he wasn't utilized. He did mention that he's been hurt, from time to time, and he too had his up and downs with finding a spot in the card. He was mixed in with, the Judgment Day and stuff. He came in early on with the LWO, and they brought him to what he was supposed to be, which is a heel. And this is a guy who he too was once again came in under comedic spots as well. Came in as he came as the goofy guy. And another thing he's not complaining about is the money. Again, he's not complaining about money. No way, no how. He said it the other day. He says, hey, listen, I should be paying them back for the money that they pay me to be here. Carlito recently just turned 46, and from his previous career in WWE, we saw him as the United States champ, the Intercontinental champ, a tag team champ, and the World Tag Team champ. I could be a bias here because I'm like, my Boricua, you gotta, he had to get that work. He got, gotta put some time in. He just recently won the WWC Puerto Rico Heavyweight Championship. He just won that. So that says something. I believe that there's reasoning and purpose for a lot of this stuff. And I only say this because, these are guys that when I say that guys, I say he and R-Trith, that if there was really any smoke or any heat, and maybe it's early. We haven't heard anything right now because they're still under contract. But they're just not getting their contracts renewed. So let's say that they knew what was going down. They pretty much have a clear cut know how business is going to go. In the case of R-Trith, it's going to get a Legends deal. If he doesn't go to any other company, let's say, which would be funny because I could see him go to AEW and just do like the most goofiest shit. Like instead of having little Jimmy, he'll have little Johnny. He'll say, he'll look at MJF and say, "You're not the Miz. You're not my old tag team partner." I could see him doing all that goofy shit and getting over. And Tony Khan would take that and embrace it at all odds. I get that. I think it'll be fucking fantastic. Carlito. I have a feeling that there's going to be some kind of workings going on to where WWE and WWC are going to start linking up like they did the previous years. There's going to be more of that gateway because they saw how big business was in Puerto Rico when WWE had gone there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Carlito and that crew are going to be the gateway of getting that going on. I could see that. I'm not too perturbed about that going on, and I don't think they are either unless they prove me wrong. Fast forward next week and they're all fucking on social media bashing the shit out of WWE. But once again, I go back to what I mentioned before. You guys are not happy because your favorite wrestlers are not getting over, are not getting booked, are not getting looked at. You guys are mad that Karrion Kross is so over, but yet he's just a match guy at main event. You guys are so pissed off that Chad Gable is not getting the spotlight and the respect that is due, knowing that he's such a great workhorse and a master in the ring. I get that. Austin Theory, who I believe is probably going to be the future of this company, looks, physiques, charisma, it can be there. You guys are upset that they're not getting a spot. And why are they not getting a spot? Reason why they're not getting a spot is because you still have the old guard there, and the old guard has to move along. Yes, they should be building them up. Yes, I totally agree with that. We just can't keep hanging on to the laurels and the facts of that John Cena is going to always main event. We're not going to sit there and believe that Cody's always going to main event. We got to start putting these guys in place so that we know that they can be challenging for major titles or major matches or major storylines. Yes, I totally agree to that. But some of you guys cannot let go of the fact that your wrestlers, your older wrestlers, are going to have to go. One day AJ Styles is gonna go. One day Randy Orton has got to go. And we're gonna sit back and lament on all the good times and all the great matches that they had and such. But you can't have both and not the other. The door has to happen where we got to let some in and let some out. And that's what's basically, it's a two-sided door. One is for entry and the other one's for exit. And this is what, and it's funny because a lot of people who sit there and are so upset about the R-Trith release and such are the same people who fucking complain that, he's a goofy dude, or Carlito's a goofy dude. So my whole thing is like, if you're mad about that and he's leaving, if you're upset about that, why are you upset about this? What should be the issue here is what the hell is happening with WWE's creative? What's going on here? I remember, and I've always said that in comparison to AEW, and I hate doing these. Well, not really. I don't really hate it, but it's the easiest thing to do. But it's such a layup to do it when you do it. In comparison to AEW, Tony Khan had a 3-year plan. Get Hangman the title in 3 years. Give that story. Everybody wanted to see that story. People worried about Cody's story. Nah, ain't nobody give a fuck about that shit. What people were more worried about was Hangman's story in AEW. You got him the title in 3 years, and then what? Nothing. After that, he had the worst title run there. Angles and storylines went to shit. You have great matches, but poor buildup. Go to the other side. We have the old man is gone. He got into his legal bullshit and he's out. Triple H takes creative and everybody says, yes, thank goodness. Triple H is on board. First year in, it's fresh, it's clean. It's not the whole Vince stories. It's not the wash, rinse, and repeat. And, Cody gets to finish his story. Roman is looking, he looked like a god. We saw the elevation of Gunther. Damian Priest became a focal point there. And then Cody finishes his story. Then what? We get a return of John Cena and his thank you for wrestling for us for so many years tour. His retirement is imminent, and you turn him heel, and that's been shit. You have the opportunity right now who once again, people are clamoring to see your new stars, your NXT guys, the guys that you banked on when you ran the brand going head to head against AEW. Now you have them on the main card, and what are you doing with them? What's happening there? Right now, the only star that hasn't gone through NXT that's looking ridiculously over fucking hype, OP as a motherfucker, is Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is looking like, and it's because, WWE has always felt as though that WWE fans don't know wrestling. That's the old days. This day and age, everybody knows everything. So everybody knows about a Jacob Fatu. Right now, you're catching some smoke with the Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker thing. That you're getting some smoke here. Okay, but where are we gonna go from there? What happens there? You got Jey Uso with the title, which is the feel-good story of the year so far. But we know Jay's not gonna hold that title for fucking a year. Jay's gonna go and hold that title until he goes to Citi Field for Jey Uso Day come July, and then SummerSlam is over. It's done. You had a monster here with Gunther who was like demolishing everybody. Then kaputs. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had probably the best rivalry in the last year and forth. And now Drew is finding his spot before he got injured in SmackDown. You put the title on Cena, which fine, I don't care. It's good. You put it on Cena. He broke that stupid fucking fake record that they have. Ric Flair's 17th time. Please. Did you not hear R-Trith had 54 championships with the 24/7 title? Please, let's not even get started with Jerry Lawler's fucking championship reigns. But you put the title on him, and immediately what we're doing is we putting him in lackluster. We were supposed to get dream matches, and now at Money in the Bank, we're getting Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul and Cena. I would have never thought that shit. And mind you, I've thought of some ridiculous shit. I've thought of some silly shit. That would have never come out of me. That's not even a Money in the Bank match. That would have been a SmackDown or a Raw match. There's no money in there. There's no draw in that. And this is the problem. The problem is that we are now looking at what we thought was going to happen in wrestling when Triple H took over. What we thought would happen is that, which was going to be like, great, we're going to see these stars that we've been waiting to burst out of the scene. Grayson Waller is going to be fantastic. We're going to see the reemergence of Finn Balor. Finn, we've been waiting for the longest. Another one he's an old guy too, but you know he's been treading water for a minute. You know, we saw a phenomenal year with Liv Morgan. Who's the next woman to come behind it? And you know, not be Rhea. We need somebody else, another woman that's going to come out of here. Sure, you got Stephanie Vaquero that just came in there. You just got Julia that's there. You're going to get Jordan Grace. Fine. So we'll see how that plays out. But then if it doesn't happen, what's going to go on? You know, Triple H has now, I guess, written himself in a corner. And now with news stories saying that he's not a fan of the Money in the Bank, he doesn't like it as a prop. He thinks it's silly to walk around with. So it's a fucking sledgehammer. Everybody knew it had a rubber tip. Let's be for real. No, but seriously, the Money in the Bank was a creation, if I remember correctly, it was by Chris Jericho who pitched the idea and it went over. And it gives the opportunity to someone in that mid-level to elevate. And if you don't rush it and you just let it play out like they did with one of the best cash-ins I've ever seen in my life, and I was there to witness it with Dolph Ziggler, the fans would eat it up, and they'd eat it up all the time. You know what they don't eat up? Quick cash-ins or cash-ins that never make sense. Austin Theory's cash-in for the United States title did not make sense at all. It was an immediate burial. Penta comes in from AEW. Reason why we putting Penta over so big, and it's just like they do in the indies. It's vice versa, same thing. You leave one company, you go to another one, you fucking big them up just so that they can make the other company look stupid. In the indies, wrestlers leave big companies, they go into the indie world, immediately win titles. Immediately. The thought process is, yo, you were just in the big leagues. Now you're in the minor leagues. Who's not to say that you can't win? And that what you do when you do that, you give them the belt, you promote the hell out of that belt and that holder in your indie scene, and then you drop it to one of your peoples in there, or drop it to somebody else who just came down, just to keep the ball rolling. In here, WWE, you get the Ray Phoenixes come in, boom, already elevated. But what happened to the people that you had there already? Raw is already suffering from lack of tag teams. Oh, the other night on Raw, we had a three-way scramble, and I was like, oh, great, that's all three tag teams that they have in Raw. They're all in one spot. Fantastic. SmackDown has all the talent, and Raw gets the shaft. Everything just seems to be on a pace of just, how is the TKO hand really? Are they really driving the car, the WWE car? Are they really the ones that are in charge of what's happening? We thought the executive producer, Paul Levesque, Mr. Chief Creative Content Creator, was going to be the guy who takes, the helm and steer it away from the Vince McMahon era. But it looks like he's leaning right back into it again. Or like if they're scared to take chances. You can't keep going to someone else's well and picking up their scraps and bringing them in. And not to say that the scraps isn't a bad thing, because I always say somebody's garbage is somebody else's gym. Be it in wrestling, be it in your personal life, whatever. I always said that. But in this day and age, you still got to start looking within and create your own star. Make your own star. The last one you did was Roman, and it took COVID for that to happen. It took COVID. It took Heyman to say, listen, this kid is not a face. He's a fucking heel. Make him a heel, and he's gonna blow up. And you got probably one of the biggest storylines in the past 3 or 4 years. But then what? What you always gotta prepare for the next move. It's chess. You always gotta get the next move 2 or 3, 4 or 5 down the road. You lose your bishop. Now you gotta make power moves with your knight. You gotta start moving things around. Speaking of Knight, LA Knight. My God, another one over. You still have him in mid-card status. SmackDown is stuck with just 2 stars on the motherfucking for the main card. 2. Cena, Cody. No one is being elevated to the next level. Why are we still dealing with that? Why do we have a large pool of people swimming to get the US title? Don't get me wrong, it's a prestigious title. But some of those guys got to get bumped up. Oh, I know. It's because we still got to make sure that, we keep it safe for Cody to have that belt. Let's get these matches going to where we could see down the line why they earned, main event title spots after Cena's gone. Why are we still sitting here, waiting for the next elevation of, I don't know, Solo Sikoa? Okay, bad example. That wasn't a good one. But you get what I mean. Poor Shinsuke. I'm not even. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he's the next one on the block. I would not be surprised. And unless you're gonna bump him back up, bump him somewhat up. What are we doing with him? I mean, it makes me worry about what happens because now we get the rumors that Ethan Page is going to be the next call up. Ricky Saints is going to be the next call up. We start hearing this and you just start going, no, let's not do that. No. This is why I said, like, there has to be something in that creative room. And I swear to you, I did not want to watch that series that's coming out, that whole behind the scenes in the creative, because I think it's just you're pulling back way too much behind the curtain. That's just way too much. You're going in too deep. But at the same time, now I want to be now I want to hear what was pitched and what they didn't fucking use. Because many times it's like, guys, I love to tell people, sit back and enjoy. I'm really getting frustrated with the fact that now I'm gonna have to possibly watch 2 fucking promotions where I just gotta sit back and enjoy matches and everything else doesn't make sense and it's just shit. Don't want to take an opportunity on putting, your eggs in a basket to start elevating somebody, bringing somebody up the card. You got the feel good story of the year that's probably going to be behind Jey Usos. You got a Sami Zayn one that's there. But once again, people are going to be mad about that too because they're going to say he's too old. But you still intertwine stories to at least get the old and the new together and build it up. Let's get some solid matches going. Let's get some key pushes. Let's get some people that are in and on that roster that can now show and improve that, yeah, this is the reason why I've been fighting for TV time or ring time. Is because I know that I could be in a higher marquee, higher on the card. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. And it's unfortunate that I don't understand how people could be a wrestler. I really don't. Like, I know as much as I love wrestling, I was asked the other day, is like, did you ever want to be a wrestler? I said, hell no. First of all, I'm not taking all those bumps. That's ridiculous. Secondly, it's you're unsecure. It's not everywhere you go, you're unsecure. But shit, at least do I get a prep knowing that? Hey, listen, you're not looking too good for you, man. You might want to start looking at other places. All right, I'll start packing my locker room shit up. I'll get my stuff ready, and I'll go out quietly. Some of these people are getting pink slips on social media. What? What would you do if you found out your boss handed you your termination letter on social media? If you man, listen, you probably, oh man, I don't even want to say it because I'll probably get flagged on YouTube and everywhere else. But I'll just say you probably flip the fuck out. You're sitting there scrambling eggs and you get the notification, blah, blah, blah. We have released such and such. We hope you good tidings in your future endeavors. It's like, come on, get it together, WWE, man. I really thought that you guys would had something going on to where you guys were at least starting to listen to the fans, put something together. Oh, can't listen to the fans. Why? No, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But yeah, they're chanting the names of their favorite wrestlers doing a match and totally ignoring the people that's in the ring. It's all horse shit. It's all about manipulation. We'll tell you who to like. And if you don't like it, well, eat it. It's the reason why you guys are paying fucking thousands upon thousands of dollars to go back to Vegas to watch WrestleMania. Don't get me started again on that shit. But yeah, you guys have a voice. And if your voice isn't being heard, change the channel. And apparently they're starting to notice it because their Netflix numbers on Raw is recording lows. So Some of you guys are not even clicking on. We need to do something that, our 29, 30, 31, 32-year-olds who are there ready to kick it off and start kicking off in their prime to show you what's their best are going to be 40. And that's when they're going to start, saying, hey, we really are paying attention to this guy. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't take 6 years for you to fucking earn your way in WWE. Especially when you know the person has a talent then and there. But what do I know? I'm just a podcaster who enjoys half-naked people running around and hitting each other and grabbing and tossing each other in a squared circle, arguing, saying that they're better than them, trying to pin and submit them. What the hell do I know? I was cutting the promo for this week on the YouTube and all other stations that we have available. And make sure you like and subscribe on our podcasting pages whenever you see it on the podcast, Turnbuckle Tabloid. Just like and subscribe and be a part of the vibe there. And much more to come on this episode, much more to talk about. This is just a taste of what we get for the rest of the podcast. And as always, guys, don't go anywhere. Stick around. Much to talk about. See you guys in a sec.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.